Hi everybody, this is Bob Maxwell with R.A. Maxwell and Associates here in Corona, California. And today we're going to feature our RAM Model 150 Marinating Vacuum Tumbler. So this is a continuous vacuum tumbler. The other type of tumbler is what they call non-continuous. So you'll notice they'll have a snorkel hose that you have to keep hooking up to this valve, unhooking, tumbling, hooking back up. It's a lot of labor. This unit here has the snorkel vac built right inside. And so it draws its vacuum here. And then to remove it, you open up this side cabinet and there's a simple pin. You just lift the pin out, slide it, and then the snorkel vac comes right out to clean. So it's very, very simple. The great thing about the continuous vacuum is that you can get a pumping sensation like a heart. And so, for example, if you're doing tri-tips, instead of doing one vacuum, say for 20 minutes, so you pull a vacuum once and then tumble for 20 minutes and finish, you're really better off to take that and break that into 2 or 3 different cycles. So what happens is, as the vacuum is pulling the vacuum on the meat, or the protein, it's pulling the connective tissue apart. And it's allowing that marinade to go in. It's tearing that connective tissue. And so it's also tenderizing the meat at the same time. And then as it's tumbling, it's also marinating, or it's also massaging the meat at the same time. Then what happens is when the air comes back into the tank and it goes into its rest cycle, that connective tissue closes and it holds that marinade inside. When it pulls the second vacuum, even though it's pulling the same amount of vacuum, like if you were to tear a muscle and keep running, that muscle would tear more and more as you kept running. The same thing with this. So you pull a vacuum a second time, that connective tissue opens up even more. So now you're picking up even more marinade. You're tenderizing the meat even more on the second time. So it's the matter of pulling a vacuum, opening the connective tissue, closing and allowing it to rest. Then pulling a vacuum again, opening the connective tissue even larger, okay, and allowing more marinade, more tenderization, and then allowing it to rest. The more times you do that, the more pickup or the more marinade, the more weight that you're going to gain inside of that piece of meat, okay, or that protein. Could be chicken breast, you know, any kind of chicken, can be fish, whatever you want to put in here, pork. But that's how a continuous vacuum works, and that's what the advantage is. So, and then we also have a variable speed on this unit, and so we can speed up or slow down the speed. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and turn it on. And then you can see it's a very slow speed here. And then you can pick up the speed. So you can vary the amount of speed. So for example, if you're doing something like fish, then you might not want it to tumble at all, okay? Or you might want it to have just a very slight tumble like this, so that you're not damaging that fillet. Now if it's a whole fish, it doesn't matter, but I'm talking about fish fillets. So again, the pumping would really help. But if you're doing something like tri-tip or a pork loin or something where it's large and it's a dense muscle, you want that product coming and tumbling and tumbling and tumbling. As it does that, what it's doing is it's naturally tenderizing the meat mechanically by hitting the bottom of that barrel. We also have a jogging feature. So for example, if the unit stops here, then you're going to go ahead and turn your vacuum off. You make sure that both parts are off here, and then you can jog. You can either go backwards or you can go forward. Obviously you would have the lid open, okay? And that allows you to put a 400-pound buggy underneath, and then you can go ahead and discharge. And to get some of it out, if you want, you know, you can move it back, you can kind of jog back and forth, and that helps. And then when you get ready to load, then you bring it up here. Of course, the door is open, you load your product, and away you go. So that's a really nice feature. This is your vacuum gauge here. So as soon as you start the machine, you'll notice that this vacuum will start coming up. It'll only go so far. It can only pull so much vacuum. So what you want to make sure is that it's pegging all the way to the end. Okay, if not, then you need to increase your vacuum time. All right, but the more product you have in, the more the tank is filled, then the less vacuum time to pull more vacuum. Okay, less air to get out of there. All right. You have an emergency stop, so if something does happen, you can always hit the stop button and the machine will stop. It comes with a water filter on the side, so a water trap, so any moisture that might be getting pulled through the vacuum tube, sometimes there's a little bit of a mist, and so if it pulls it through the vacuum tube, it's no problem. There's a large water reservoir in here, and you get a wrench with it to open that and empty that, clean that out each night. All right, and that's basically the only maintenance that's on it. It does have a chain, and so you want to grease the chain, you know, once a month or something like that. All right, so this is our RAM Model 150 marinating vacuum, continuous marinating vacuum tumbler. Thanks so much, and have a great day. Bye now.